worked, at Walmart, and they're buying $600,000 houses. And I was doing real estate seminars at the time. This one guy was doing insurance. He ran the seminars, and he found out I did real estate. And he said, look, why don't you do a real estate portion, and I'll do an insurance portion, because it all ties together. I said, yeah, okay, great. So what do you think I was doing? I was telling everybody, if you're going to sell in South Florida, if you're going to sell and retire or relocate or downsize in the next 5 years, why not do it now? Because people had gone from $300,000 value in 5 years, their house was worth $1 million. And I'm thinking, this is nuts, because the price is way out of whack with the people living there and the kind of jobs they had, okay? People are making $20, $25 a piece, 2 people 50 grand. They're buying $600,000 houses. And by this time, I was doing just consulting. I had sold Century 21s in Western New York, sold the business, but it just made no sense to me. At some point, if people can't afford it, they're going to lose it. Here's what realtors were telling you. Don't worry about it. If you don't think you can afford it, in a year, sell it. You'll make 50, 60 grand. And that was happening for 5 years. Well, what happened eventually? The bubble burst. Everything fell apart. Banks fell apart. The whole banking system fell apart because of that. All had to do with real estate. They were heavily, lending a lot more, and people started losing their properties. And then, well, you know what it's like still now. I mean, half the homes on the market is because somebody lives in California and they owe $5 million on the house, and it's only worth $3 million. So what do you think they're doing? They're cutting a deal with the bank, because the bank doesn't want to ruin people's credit, because if you ruin everybody's credit, there won't be anybody to buy anything. You'll kill the economy. So the bank will say, okay, we'll let you out. So what does that guy do? He goes off of his $5 million mortgage, right? Goes right down the street and buys a house just like his for $2.5 million. So for that reason, it's going to take 10 years or more to work through all that overpriced real estate. People can't afford it. Everything went up crazy. Prices are sky high. Insurances, food, everything. So they got the banks, before they bail out of this whole mess, they're going to have to work through all that bad paper. And it's going to take, it's already been 2 or 3 years, it's going to take maybe another 10 years. On the flip side, if you got money, you got a decent job, and you're wondering, should I buy? Absolutely. How are you going to get hurt? These are one of the things that happens once every 100 years. Real estate takes a bath like this. Anybody getting in, years from now, I'm going to say, oh my God, the people that didn't, oh my God, I can't believe how cheap stuff. I'll be looking at the old prices, because I do it with my dad. My dad looked at stuff years ago, and I'm going, oh my God, like 30 acres in a good location for $20,000, and now they want like $2 million. So it's going to be the same thing. But what am I doing? This is not full. But you're gonna have to be able to afford it. I'm trying to do too many things. You got to be able to afford it. So if you're buying a house and you got good jobs, great. If you're buying investments so you can repair and flip, great. If you're buying because you know how to screen tenants and you're going to keep long term and the tenants are going to pay the mortgage, great. If you're buying as an investment and you know nothing about it, dumb, because you'll lose your money. It takes knowing what you're doing. But I don't know if you're where you're from, but here in Texas you can get a nice house built in the last 10, 15 years. A lot of brick, $100,000. So, I mean, where are you going to go for that kind of price? Now, for $100,000, you can have somebody working at Walmart and somebody driving cab or somebody doing anything. People can make 20, 25, 2 people, and for $100,000 you can afford it. But in South Florida, California, where you're paying $500,000, $600,000, $1 million with those kind of incomes, crazy. And the bank knew it. But nobody cared. Why? Bank was making money. Everybody was making money. The people that were being stupid is a homeowner. But Jesus, if you were renting and then somebody tells you can have a $600,000 beautiful 3,000 square foot house, and they tell you, we'll finance it, well, what do you think people are going to do? They start believing they can afford it. Especially when you're telling them, look at, if in a year from now you don't think you can afford to keep it, oh, they were also giving you those early mortgages, no interest for the first 2 to 3 years. So people actually could afford them. And they would say, well, in 2 or 3 years, when you have to pay interest on this mortgage, because think of it, interest on $600,000 when the household income is 50. I mean, it's beyond stupid, right? But remember, wow, he's finishing up already. This is amazing. We'll ride with him a little bit. Remember, no interest. All of a sudden when you start paying interest, and at the time, I mean, it could range. Mortgage interest rate now, that's another reason to buy. You can get 3% money. Back then you were paying me, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10%, depending on your credit, maybe even a little higher. So once that interest kicked in, people couldn't afford it. But they were told, don't worry, if a year from now, same realtor, a year from now, you can't afford those mortgage payments, because they're going, maybe you get a better job, and the guy goes, yeah, I'll work overtime. Oh, you know what happened? The economy went to shit. People started losing jobs. Forget overtime. You were lucky if you could get 40 hours, okay? So all of a sudden, all the things they thought they would loosen up additional money, where in 3 years we'll have more money so we will be able to afford it. Don't worry about it today. Well, guess what? Things got a lot worse. So there went that idea. What about the idea you can just flip it? Because for 5 years, everybody bought and sold for $50,000 profit every year. Well, there was no market there either. In fact, what happened? It was now worth $300,000. So you had all those people lose their homes. In fact, today, you can look at the numbers. We've had record last 3 years, record amount of foreclosures. Okay. But from, like me, every once in a while I buy a property. We usually go right through it because I don't intend to keep it. I don't want tenants long-term paying in the rear, paying in the ass. So what I do is, you look at it, you put a number on it, you go in there 2-3 months, you get it all dialed up, and you flip it. You go all long range, you could hang on to it and make $100 grand in 5 years. Well, I'd rather short range, flip it and make 30 grand, and go on to the next one. Because here's the nice thing, when you're done, the money's in your pocket, hey, it's yours. If you go long term, then you got to be willing to deal with tenants, repairs, fires, insurance claims, the whole thing. I've done both. I've managed for myself, and I've managed property as part of the real estate business, but wouldn't want to do it, not today. Of course, back then I was doing the construction and I owned the real estate business. It was easy for me to get crews to do all of, yeah, I just wouldn't want the aggravation of doing it today. But if you're young and you're starting out and you already know, you're already in the building and you're an electrician, you're a plumber, you can do the construction, hire the crews. Yeah, it's a great way to start, you know what I mean? Okay, this is looking good. Now, we can't do anything with this guy right now. Because guess what? Let's go look to see what he's full again. Wow. Let me go look. Wow. Yep. I gotta get this straw before we can use this. Anyways, yeah, see the trees, look at this. Yeah, that's really realistic, right? We will change it a little at a time. I'm not, I used to do a little bit of modding and stuff using back in 2009, the farming, the editor or whatever. But you know, you forget a lot of it. So I'm kind of trying to get familiar. And then I got to admit, and I'll be happy to share with you what I know. Eventually I put some how-to videos. You know, I can move trees around, I can move buildings around, I can move things and stuff. I don't play around too much with the land, you know, as far as sculpting the land. I don't know, it's just tougher, probably because I don't really know enough about it. But whatever I know, I'll pass on. I'll try to make the videos like ABC, easy to follow, and visual. Either write stuff up or show you the screen and do a visual with the notes on everything. You know why? I go on YouTube and I go looking for this stuff, and a lot of the stuff there it's confusing. You know, and I'm a pretty smart guy and it's confusing, so I don't know. And don't forget another thing. So I got to start editing this place a couple of days ago, right? So I get out the editor, I move a couple of trees around, eliminate a couple of buildings, didn't do much, just 2 things. And I want to see how it looks inside and if it's working right. So I hit save, I come into the ranch, nothing. I says, wait a minute, I had tried a day or 2 before that and I was able to get a couple of buildings. Then I remember the one building had like glitched. I had all kinds of trouble getting rid of it. And what do you think? It had glitched the software. Now, I'm messing around for 2 days. Really pissed. Because I wanted to start modding this building, just a few things, so the people that were watching could view it. Nothing. Can't get it to save, can't get it anything. I eliminated a building and come back, it'd still be here, even though I had saved it with the building gone. Finally, yesterday, I go, hey, let me try. So I go in and I reload the software. Guess what? I come in and I eliminate a building. I go out. I mean, in the editor, I come back in, building's gone. I go, shit, that was it. So I'm letting you know. If you're doing this and the editor isn't working right, and even though you're saving with the building gone, you're looking at it, it's gone, and you're coming into the map and it's still there, reload your software, because what happened was that editor glitched the software somehow when I had the problem with that one building. Okay, so hopefully it won't take you 2 days to figure out. I will try to put all that, because that's something I had not seen anywhere. Nobody had said anything. Guess what? 2 days of aggravation. I'll tell you what, I spent 2 or 3 hours. Now today